Welcome to the Ben Daniel Podcast, where we're calling a spade a spade. Caitlin Clark finishes top 5 in MVP voting, something that doesn't surprise anybody, but a name on the MVP list will surprise you, and we'll get into that momentarily. Folks, Caitlin Clark finishes 4th in MVP voting, behind A'ja Wilson, behind Afisha Collier, behind Brianna Stewart, 4th in MVP voting. She received 6 third-place votes, 26 fourth-place votes, and 5 fifth-place votes. It seems pretty unanimous that everybody agreed she was a top 5 MVP caliber player this season. Keep in mind, folks, this isn't a second half of the year award. Don't get fooled by how well she performed in the second half. This isn't a second half of the year award. This is a season award. This entire season, even with the slow start in the first half, what Caitlin Clark was doing statistically was MVP caliber numbers, and only in the second half of the season, maybe a little bit leading into that Olympic break, some of those numbers started paying off into wins. Some of that Caitlin Clark effect started rubbing off on Lexi Hull, rubbing off on Kelsey Mitchell, rubbing off on Aaliyah Boston, rubbing off on Damaris Dantas. And the Indiana Fever, not only was Caitlin Clark thriving, the Indiana Fever was thriving as well. Another thing to take note, the Associated Press, a highly regarded publishing company, the AP poll, the ones that rank college football, the AP poll, Associated Press unanimously voted Caitlin Clark the Rookie of the Year. It seems like those over there at Associated Press still have some dignity, still have a brain in between their ears. They don't need to kowtow to anybody. They don't need to bend over and take it like all these other companies, ESPN. They don't need to do anything along those lines. So salute to Associated Press for not living in delusionalville, not living in out of this world of reality and being very being very based in your takes right here, right? I'm so used to these companies being biased. That's just the first word that comes out of my mouth when we're discussing their opinions. But no, this seems to be based in actual reality. What else did the AP do? They named Caitlin Clark All WNBA First Team. All WNBA First Team. They named her AP All Rookie Team. And like we recently discussed, AP Rookie of the Year. Caitlin Clark finished this season 19 points, 5.7 rebounds, 8.4 assists, a stat line that has never been done in the history, that's right folks, history of the WNBA. A league that has seen so many bums come and go, so many women miss point-blank layups, so many women fail to grab rebounds. It takes Caitlin Clark, somebody who makes her layups, somebody who makes her point-blank bunnies, someone who makes her teammates better. It took until her to show up for these stat lines to finally get achieved. Folks, nobody has ever led the WNBA in assists and still finish in the top 10 in scoring in the league. That goes to Caitlin Clark. But the big, what's going on here is, of course, not Kelsey Mitchell getting a third place vote and a fifth place vote. Kelsey Mitchell's putting up some pretty good numbers too, and she, to some degree, is the scorer of this team, right? Not the playmaker, right? Folks, shooting buckets are considered plays. Making baskets are considered plays. Setting your teammates are considered. Not just passing as a playmaker. Caitlin Clark is a dynamic individual. She scores, she passes, she rebounds, she does it all. Kelsey Mitchell is the bona fide scorer of this team. Kelsey, take us home. Remember that? Fourth quarter, Kelsey, take us home. Team comes out a little bit sluggish. Kelsey, please help this ship get back on the right track. Help us regain some of the momentum that we lost because Chrissy Sides is a fool. And Kelsey Mitchell, more oftentimes than not, answers the call. She missed the first few games of the season. Took her a couple games to get her bearings under her. She heard the critiques. Kelsey, pass it. She'll give it to you back. Trust me. Kelsey, give her the ball. She'll give it to you back. Trust me. Kelsey Mitchell shooting nearly 46% from the field, being a high-volume scorer, shooting 40% from three with that patented high-arcing three-point shot. Kelsey Mitchell, she gets a couple MVP votes as well. But, of course, the DEI committee, the woke committee, the losers in Loserville, the dummies of Dumbo Town, the WNBA fools of the world, they needed to give Angel Reese a fourth-place vote. How embarrassing can you be? How much of an embarrassing league can you possibly be to give Angel Reese a fourth-place vote? How do you expect people to take you seriously for you to give Angel Reese a fourth-place vote? Kathy Engel Braindead, I said this the other day, I'm going to say it again. Who's in charge over there? Who's calling the shots over there? Who's making personnel decisions over there? Who do you have in your back room? Or is it just a bunch of virtue signaling idiots that are voting a certain way? They completely ignore what actually basketball is, and they're voting a certain way. Has nothing to do with Angel Reese, has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. It has to do with the fools that Kathy Engel Braindead has hired over there at the league offices that these companies have put in a position to make decisions on MVP awards, Rookie of the Year awards. Folks, if Angel Reese got a fourth place MVP vote, we know damn well when the final Rookie of the Year voting comes out for the WNBA, there's no way Caitlin Clark's going to win unanimously. I won't be surprised if Angel Reese gets some first place votes, if Rakia Jackson gets some first place votes, if Cam Brink gets some first place votes, if Aaliyah Edwards gets some first place votes, with all the DEI dumbass nonsense of the idiots who didn't earn it. If those people have the ability to put Angel Reese and give her a fourth place vote, then don't be surprised when the Rookie of the Year award isn't unanimous. Again, this was the AP award, Rookie of the Year, Associated Press. Nothing to do with the WNBA. I'm sure they have one writer on the payroll that gets a vote, but this is the Associated Press that gave Caitlin Clark the unanimous Rookie of the Year award. This is some fool, virtue signaling fool, that gave Angel Reese a fourth place vote when everybody knows she doesn't deserve it. Angel Reese had a good rookie year, all things considered. 13 and 13, averaging a double-double, 39% from the field, 18% from three. Can't even shoot over 75% from the free throw line. We all saw her pad her stats this whole entire season. We saw her stay in games that were incredibly out of hand. 20-point lead one way, 20-point lead in the Sky's favor. They're down by 15, they're up by 30. It doesn't matter. If Angel Reese doesn't get her double-double, she's staying in the game. Teresa Weatherspoon literally jeopardized her locker room, her team chemistry, Dana Evans and Isabel Harrison's, I guess, mental health, you want to call it, just so Angel Reese can go at and pad her stats. This has nothing to do with Angel Reese, but has everything to do with the idiots that Kathy Engel Braindead decides to put in charge of this league. The cosign that you might want to say. Hey, this is who you have voting. Okay, let me check their credentials. No credentials, no credentials, no credentials, no credentials. Yeah, it sounds like a good person to me. Oh, this person has 5,000 followers on Twitter. Yeah, this sounds like a good person to me. Kathy, you really need to get it together over there, because this is a terribly embarrassing look for the WNBA. Now, folks, I'm not too much of a fan of the flip-flopping phonies, per se. However, there is one person in the media who I don't agree with everything he says, but I respect the fact that he is in the media, he's at a highly regarded company, and he calls it like it is, right? He calls it like it is. He's not scared to say, this is the Rookie of the Year. This player is in MVP conversations, and that person I'm talking about is none other than Robin Lundberg. Robin, salute to you. Everybody, please reach out to Robin. Go out, subscribe to his channel. He does have a YouTube channel where he talks Caitlin Clark. But more importantly, to me, he works for Sports Illustrated. More importantly, to me, he has a voice in Sports Illustrated, and he has not changed his tune. He sung the same song from start to finish, and I salute you for that, Robin. I salute you for that. And you're also a fellow New Jersey. And I don't know if you're from New Jersey, but you live here, so salute to you. and New Jersey, right? Not trying to start anything, but voting Angel Reese fourth for MVP is neglecting professional responsibility. Just like flip-flopping every 2 weeks is neglectful professional responsibility. Just like saying this person's rookie of the year instead of this person for no reason that has to do with basketball is, how he put it, neglecting professional responsibility. There is no way Angel Reese deserves a fourth place vote. There are tons of other players in this league better and more impactful than Angel Reese. The fact that she got a vote and Kennedy Carter didn't get a vote lets you know the jig is up. Lets you know the fix is in. Lets you know the woke folk have their hands sunken deep into the WNBA. Something that we already knew, but it's this deep that biases are being applied to voting for yearly awards that can really change people's lives. Now, I don't know what the deal is with the MVP, but I know in NBA, you get certain awards, you get certain credentials, you get a boost in pay. I hope that's not the case in the WNBA because they're just going to be giving people boosts of pay that don't deserve it for no reason at all. In his article, he even says, he put out an article on Sports Illustrated right as this dropped. Far too often, non-hoops related conversations have hijacked the WNBA conversation, and it's hard to explain Reese receiving such a vote for basketball reasons. We all know why Reese received the vote. Nothing to do with basketball. Has to do with use your imagination. You'll pick up what I'm putting down. Angel Reese doesn't deserve to be anywhere near this MVP conversation. Angel Reese isn't even the MVP of her team. She might be the MVP in the downfall of her team, but not the MVP of her team. Now, Robin, I hope you don't mind, but you're speaking a lot of truth over here on Twitter. You are speaking a lot of truth over here on Twitter. I'm going to blow this up. I'm going to get my black and white sports on, right? What does he do? All the way over here. I'm going to get my black and white sports on, and we're going to look at some of your tweets, right? She got one vote, y'all. Y'all's queen got hella votes, and y'all still find a reason to cause drama. This has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. It has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. It's got nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. It has to do with the ineptitude and the how incapable those voters at the WNBA are, right? If they only see one thing, and you know what they see. Appreciate you for being objective, but being silent about Alyssa Thomas, DeWanna Bonner, Kayla McBride is the reason people are calling this hate. These players only have 3 to 5% higher field goal over Reese, who there is so uproar. 3 to 5 is significant, especially when accounting for shot profile and they were on elite teams. Great point, Robin. Angel Reese is shooting within 3 feet of the basket. Angel Reese is shooting within 3 feet of the basketball, within 3 feet of the rim. And she's still barely shooting 39%. Completely different things we're talking about here. What else does he go on to say? Being this pressed over a singular fourth place vote is a symptom of mental illness. No, having a vote is professional responsibility that should be taken seriously, right? Giving this person a fourth place vote is a symptom of mental illness. Let's be honest here. NBA votes have been a story forever. Melo getting one the year LeBron should have been unanimous. Jokic not making the ballot. This feels like a Joel Embiid over Jokic feel-good MVP after Joel Embiid, clearly not the better player, but people were tired of listening to him complain and whine, so eventually they gave him the MVP. That's my opinion. That's not Robin's. That solely is my opinion. There are lots of players who are positive for their team and aren't MVP candidates. Absolutely. Lexi Hull's a positive for the Fever. She an MVP candidate? Cut it out. Kennedy Carter is the only one on that Chicago Sky team that deserves any type of MVP votes. Robin continues to go on and on and on. It's not hate. It's not hate. Reese had a tremendous rookie season, and there is no reason to discuss her at all today. But the virtue signalers, they need to signal. The virtue signalers need to signal, right? I didn't talk about the Sports Illustrated award, but this is along the same lines. No shot at Sports Illustrated. I'm sorry, Robin. This is along the same line. No, this person shouldn't be discussed today. We should be talking about A'ja Wilson's unanimous MVP. We should be talking about Caitlin Clark making her playoff debut. And we should be talking about the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the New Orleans Saints. It's the Bandito Podcast. We're calling a spade a spade. I appreciate all the support. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. We are in the venue 2.5 hours. Take it easy.